it's Alyce and welcome to our slightly updated Hook a Duck TBR game for January. I know this is a little bit later than we normally do it, but we have updated the prompt cards, so the game stays the same. However, instead of doing 6 picks a month, we're only doing 4 because we were struggling and we've just come out of a reading slump and we don't want to give ourselves too much to try to get to. So, compared to last year's Hook a Duck, we've done a year of Hook a Duck. If you've missed any, then I will link the playlist for you and you can catch up on any of those. But what we do is we hook ducks with our rod, and then the duck bum corresponds to the colour, which corresponds to the duck bum is painted a colour, and it corresponds to a genre, and then we have prompt cards that have those on them. So, pink ducks are middle grade ducks, orange ducks are sci-fi ducks, yellow ducks are fantasy ducks, green ducks are young adult ducks, blue ducks are adult ducks, purple ducks are friend pick ducks, and silver ducks are dealer's choice ducks. There is a little bit of a change with that. The purple friend pick duck, instead of having lots of different prompts that our friends could pick from, we've also shaken it up a little bit. So we've got a booktube recommended, so I can just pick something that I've seen on booktube a lot, BookTok recommended, Bookstagram recommended, anything that I've been seeing around that I feel like reading can fit into one of those prompts. So it puts a little bit less pressure on our friends, and it means I feel a little less bad if I don't manage to get to their books each month. I'm not going to do a punishment pop pick this month because our last Hook a Duck TBR was in November and I legitimately can't even remember what we picked to read, considering I've read 2 books this year so far and I didn't really read anything at all in October or November. Things are getting better, my mental health is feeling a bit nicer, my brain is in a happier place, so hopefully this is the right time for us to read our Hook a Duck with our fancy schmancy new prompt cards that you can actually read. I know we've had problems with the prompt cards in the past because the pen was very thin and the writing was quite small. So we've done them all fancy schmancy up on Google Sheets, and we can add more prompt cards and we can edit prompt cards and we can just have lots of fun. Hopefully this time next month they will be backed onto card and they will have a big old Hook a Duck logo, but I have not had time for that. However, we have new cards and that is the biggest achievement that we can possibly try to get at the moment. So without further ado, I'm going to hook 4 ducks for you. I'm going to pick 4 books that I'm going to read, and hopefully this will actually end up being our January TBR and we will get these read. There are a couple of books that we've already started at the beginning of January, but they're short ones, so we should be able to get those finished and then hopefully still squeeze in the books that I've picked for later in the month. But we'll see. Over to Alyce to pick duck number 1. As I will have just mentioned, this is the first round of the brand new Hook a Duck, so here are our brand new Hook a Duck cards. Some prompts the same, some prompts different, but they're all fancy schmancy and printed now. So hopefully you should be able to see them a little bit better on the screen. We're hoping to have them backed on card and looking a bit fancier next month. So these will go on my little table here now that I've shuffled them. And let's hook our first duck. We're only doing 4 today, so we'll see how this goes. So our first duck is stuck on the hook. First duck is a yellow duck, which is a fantasy duck. And this fantasy duck prompt is one of our highest rated fantasy books. Duck number 1 was a fantasy duck, and the fantasy prompt was highest rated. And now I didn't even need to check on Goodreads to know what this was going to be. It's The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Stormlight Archives series. I was supposed to start this a few months ago. My friend Raph picked it for me. I was actually going to read it and the reading slump happened and this is ginormous. This boy be 1001 pages. So of course this had to be the first book on this TBR. I'm just going to check on Goodreads and see exactly what average rating it has. 4.61. So it has a high average rating. Annoyingly enough, just above this is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas, which is actually being released next month. So if this prompt had come up next month, it would have been perfect because I'm really excited to read that one and I know I'll fly through it. This, I'm not sure because it's going to be my first Brandon Sanderson, which is scary, but looks like we're trying to at least start The Way of Kings in January. That's another thing. As long as I've started the book before the end of the month, I'm not doing a punishment pop pick because it just ends up being a race against time and I don't enjoy the book because it feels like a chore. As long as I've read at least 10% of each book on this TBR, we'll count it. It's fine. It's fine. Back to Alyce to pick duck number 2. Duck number 2 is a purple duck, which is a friend pick duck. And that friend pick prompt is a book from our old TBR, which is also known as a TBR veteran. Duck number 2 was a friend pick duck, and this was a friend pick duck of old TBR. So I normally count old TBR as anything that's I've had for more than a couple of years that I've been putting off reading. And I asked my friend Gary, and I gave my friend Gary this picture, which, as you can see, has the Return of the King in it. And my friend Gary is very, very obsessed with Lord of the Rings. He really likes it, and I thought that he would pick The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien, which I am not looking forward to reading, but I do need to read it at some point because it's on my These Books Will Self-Destruct list. And he picked A Court of Wings of Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, which I've put on here sneakily because it is old TBR. I have had this book since 2017, that's 5 years ago. It's an old TBR book, and I was hoping to get A Court of Silver Flames read last year, so I should have definitely had this finished by now, but I'm also halfway through it. I got halfway through it and then I stopped reading it and then we haven't picked it up again since. And Sean and I were having a conversation in the car the other day when he said, hey, hold up, I actually don't think I want to carry on reading that one with you. If you read it and tell me what happens. So I was like, okay, I'll try and prioritise getting to that soon. And now I do. So I'm going to finish off this hunker chunker beast of a book by myself and hopefully enjoy it. And I've just got to try and remember whereabouts I was because my bookmark has gone at some point in the intervening months. But yes, thank you, Gary, for picking A Court of Wings of Ruin rather than The Return of the King, because this could have been new reading slump material. This could still be new reading slump material, but at least I'm reading it by myself, so it should mean that we read The Way of Kings even faster, because if I'm not enjoying this, I'll keep reading The Way of Kings with Sean, and we'll be picking it up more regularly. So, thanks again, and good pick. Over to me for duck number 3. Duck number 3 is refusing to come out. Duck number 3 is a blue duck, which is an adult duck, and the adult prompt for that duck is, if I'd remembered to take out the card that tells me which colour corresponds to which genre, it would have been helpful. So the prompt for that adult duck is a thriller. Ooh, okay, I've got quite a lot of those that I want to get to. And duck number 3 was an adult duck, and that was a thriller pick. So, for this one, we're diving back to August 2021 when I was supposed to read My Name is Jensen by Heidi Amsnick. I was sent an advanced copy of this from the publisher Muswell Press, and I was really, really excited about it. And did I manage to get it read? Well, based off the fact that it's in this TBR video, no, I didn't. So, I want to get this done because obviously it's a review copy. I prioritise my review copies, but work was... I'd literally just started my job and I did not really have any reading time whatsoever. I'm starting to get into more of a rhythm with it now and I know what to expect each week, which is helping. So I'm hoping that I will actually be able to get through this. It's quite skinny, but it has like big margins and stuff. It's less than 400 pages, so I think it's a good chance to get it done. I thought it was a crime book because it says it's a stellar new crime writer, but then on the back it says a propulsive thriller. So I'm counting this. It's not my crime prompt, but I'm counting it because apparently it's also a thriller. So I know there's some overlap there, but normally in my head books are either like crime or thriller. I don't know how my head categorises them. This one I thought was a crime one, but we're going with it anyway. I'm cheating slightly, but it's fine. And last but not least, over to me for our 4th duck of the day. And the final duck for this month, we might go back up to 6 next month, we might stick on 4, but we're just doing 4 for now. And our final duck for this month is... Come on. Stuck on the thing again, and it's a green duck. And a green duck is a young adult duck. And the young adult prompt for that duck is a YA fantasy, which is nice and vague. I can work with that. We can see how that goes. And our fourth duck of the day was a young adult duck, and this was a YA fantasy, which I've been a little sneaky because is A Court of Wings a real YA? No. Now, this was published as YA at the time. It says not suitable for younger readers, but it has a $7.99 price point, which is YA paperback price. It was not published in hardback first, which, I mean, most adult books are published in paperback first. Paperback second, I mean. They're published in hardback first. I bought it from the teen section in Waterstones, and they've recently redesigned the covers to re-release them for an adult audience. So as long as I'm reading this with the YA cover, I'm counting it as a YA fantasy. Am I being sneaky? Yes. Do I deserve to be? Yes, because I got this big beast as the first book on this TBR, and this was meant to be a small one. So with these two together, even if I'm cheating and using this for 2 prompts I probably shouldn't use it for, heck it. Heck it. Heck it. And I'm also halfway through Call Down the Hawk anyway, which is kind of like fantasy-ish, because there's a guy who can pull stuff out of his dreams and make it real. So, I mean, as long as I finish Call Down the Hawk this month, I could easily double up and just use that for both. But for the purposes of this video, because this is easier to get than Call Down the Hawk, because I'm short and Sean's out. So, this ta-da-da-da stack here is our official January TBR. Are we going to get them read? I'm feeling hopeful today. I'm having a good mental health day today, which probably means if I wake up tomorrow and I feel awful, no, we will not. But we're going to try. We are going to try our darndy-dandiest to at least start all of these. I mean, these 2 are for me, which will help because it's only Sean and I that have to focus on this one. We're currently in the middle of trying to finish The Shadow Rising, so we'll pretend that that's not happening, because with that as well, this is definitely not going to happen, but it's fine. It is a-okay. We are going to do it. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. This is the first of our new Hook-a-Duck, and we will be bringing you one of these every single month, so please make sure to pop back towards the end of the month ready for February's TBR, which I'm hoping will be a bit contemporary, a bit romancy, a bit less intimidating. Thank you so much for watching. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so we'll see you in a couple of days with another video. Bye!